Okay, here we go. I know you think I'm very late. You want to know why? No, I don't think you care. Anyhow, listen, let's try to cover a little bit today. Um, and what I see really, it's just the typical bullshit. Here's a photo of, I don't know whether this was a doctored photo or what. I'm trying to find out, but I can't really. Of Trump sitting at the Pope's funeral wearing a "Make America Great" hat. I don't think that's real. I don't think he carries it with him. Number one, and number two, I don't think he'd be that stupid, because that would absolutely get him completely and utterly ostracized from society. He did discuss plans for peace or war or whatever with Zelensky inside the church. I don't think that was right. But you know, Trump's not a Catholic. Trump's not religious. He goes to church and says these things and everything like that. But he thinks he's God. You know, that's the problem. Yeah, you know. Because he wants to be king. Because kings are supposedly descendants of God. They're supposed to be godlike in their abilities to mess with your life, and that's what he wants. The problem I have with that is that I don't think he's going to live long enough for that to happen. And I'm not wishing evil on him or anything like that. I mean, I don't wish him well, but I don't wish him evil either. I don't think that he's a well man. You know, I think all he's doing to himself, all the bad karma he's outside and absorbing, that's just going to that's really going to hurt him someday, you know. Hey, listen, some of the crap I did and what's going on in my life, I understand that perfectly, you know. It's the old saying, what goes around comes around, you know. He's just, I don't know. He believes he is better than everybody else. And if we're not careful, you're going to wake up one morning and find out it's 1984. And Orwell was right. And the women in the world are going to find out that The Handmaid's Tale was a history book, not a fictional story. I'm a avid reader, and I think that helps keep my brain in one piece, so I continue to do it. I don't read history books and whatnot. I read books that interest me. If the title interests me and if the story interests me, then I read it. Obviously, I'm not a romance novel reader, but I did read Orwell's 1984. I've read it actually about 4 times. Every once in a while, I would go back and read it again. And every time it gets harder and harder to find a book because they ban it because it's not history anymore. It's a playbook for what Trump is doing. I think it's going to be a little harder than it was in those books because I don't think the military's on his side. Because the military doesn't like what he does to the guys that get out, to the veterans. And the military doesn't like the fact that he's an idiot. He's never been in the military, and then he thinks he's better than the military. He thinks he knows better than everybody. And he put some National Guard officer into a position of absolute authority over the military. That's Hedges or however you pronounce his name. I don't really care how I pronounce it anymore. I think he'll be gone soon. He just can't. But one of the articles that intrigued me was that they don't care what he does. So long as he kisses Trump's ass, he'll be okay. You know, and that's just showing what a coward he is. You know, and you don't want a coward leading the military. You know, No, that's where he orders. He orders the women and children to stand in front of him so he doesn't get shot. You know, that's how he is. But Donald wants to be king. And if he can't be king, he wants to be a dictator where he's, you know, they're working on this, the TV and whatnot, to be like the TV in the story of Orwell's 1984. Trump's working, not Trump, but I guess it's Trump's idea, but Musk is working with, I forgot the name of the company, or the FAA anyhow, he's working with it, to put, what's that, his satellite company, something to do with his satellite company. One day, if everything continues the way Trump is, and say Trump gets control of everything, and everybody's, you know, subjugated, we're still going to wake up one day and find out this country's nothing but a bunch of broken down garbage. And you say, that can't happen. Yes, it can. Because you're destroying the educational system, you're destroying the training programs, you're destroying everything. Because you want a political ideology in its place, rather than imaginative thinking and whatnot. So after Musk gets all this stuff done, Musk will be gone soon too, because he's a drug addict. Drug addicts don't last long. I don't care if it's a legitimate drug. He's destroying his brain on a daily basis, and he doesn't understand that. But he will. Eventually he will. And he'll be, you know, sitting on the sidelines going, blah, 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 blah. That's next on his list. Every once in a while, one of the other guys, Patel or somebody like that, sticks his head up and says something ridiculously stupid or does something very stupid. And you forget something. It's one of his Trump's sponsors was talking about this. America's a brand. America's a name brand. It's not just a country. Okay, what happens here affects the world. And if the world doesn't have faith in us, we don't have the ability to fight the whole world. Okay? We didn't have the ability to defeat Germany without England and the French underground and other troops, Australian troops and what have you, that got involved in the war. We didn't have the ability to win that war. Sure, we could produce all the weapons in the world, but you need people to pull the triggers. You know? And we lost a lot of people in that war. You know? Same thing in Vietnam. Vietnam was a war for all the millionaires in the world. You know? They're the ones that made money, but we weren't in that alone. Australia, I believe English SAS troops were involved there. We wouldn't have lasted as long as we did without help from other people. So you sit here and you say to people, you know, like, you got to kiss our ass. Dude, they don't have to. They can just sit back and watch us destroy ourselves. You know, we did that with Russia. We watched communism destroy itself from the inside. And maybe that's how Trump got his ideas, you know, how to destroy it. And maybe Putin's sitting back, you know, and that's why he's on Trump's side. Because he's watching us destroy ourselves from the inside. We were the most powerful nation in the world, give or take a few missiles here or there. We were well known for our diplomacy and the ability of our people to think. You know, I mean, after the, you know, the ugly American thing went away after World War II, and we started to pay attention to what we were saying and doing, and we made friends and everything. Just look from an economic point of view. California, the state of California, is now the world's 4th largest economy. surpassing Japan. How does a state do that? Okay, and Trump keeps screwing with them. You know, wanting to do this or that to that state. Trump is I don't know what his deal is, but I can tell you this: he's not a smart man. He's not a genius. Okay, he is. He's what they call. He's a con man. Con mans have this ability, and some say that they're geniuses. No, they are, but not in a good way, because their ability is to manipulate people and get them to do what they want to do, what they want them to do. Okay, and you're taking a people that are sitting around trying to figure out what's going on and not doing what they should be doing, because they don't want to be violent. They don't want to riot in the streets because they don't want to get shot, but they don't want to shoot anybody either. But you have reached a point where normal good people will only take so much. They cannot be crushed. I don't think the American will can be crushed. I think it's still going to be there no matter what Trump tries to do. And I think eventually he's going to realize that, you know. I mean, he's already realized that he can't browbeat China. China's been negotiating for longer than America's been around. With those people in Asia, South America, these people have been in negotiations for, you know, they're drug dealers that negotiate better than Trump does. Trump thinks he can bully people, that he can use his money. Well, first of all, he doesn't have any. And second of all, when you're trying to, what happened to him and how he was able to manipulate the justice system before he got elected was simply because if he went down, he would bankrupt he could bankrupt 2 or 3 major corporations because he owed them so much money. They'd have to write it off. Now, they wrote it off anyhow, but Trump made sure that they, you know, had money. He's not going to pay his bills when he's done in office. That's why he doesn't want to be out of office. It's not because he thinks he's got this great plan of what he wants to do. Look, he idolizes Kim for, well, the picture they showed at the time was I don't know, some sort of speech. They were all in military uniforms. I don't know whether it was a military speech or not, or just that's the dress of the government of China. But they were all sitting straight like they got steel rods up their ass, you know. And he said, "Look at that!" And he said, "That's the way I want Americans to sit when I talk." The difference is that in America you have to get respect for people to sit like that and to pay attention to you. You know, and in some instances they do that because they respect the position you hold. But you can see sometimes in Congress that isn't true. They have no respect for these people that are up there, whoever is talking, or they fall asleep because they talk too much. But that's the problem. You know, Kim's people don't respect him. They fear him. Okay, they know that if they don't sit up and stay straight, they won't be that seat next week or tomorrow. They'll be replaced by somebody else. You can't. There's no such thing as an opposition. You can't say no. You can't say, well, maybe we should do it. No, you can't do that. In North Korea, you can't do that in a lot of the countries in this world. You can do it in the United States right now. Maybe not next month, but right now you can. You can disagree with the President of the United States and you can let him know that. Now you face retribution of sorts, you know, if you disagree with him. And that's not right. And I don't think the American people are going to sit still for that. You know, I'm not encouraging them to do anything. I'm just stating my opinions here, and for what they're worth, and probably nothing. I'm older than that moron, moron Trump, but I'm not a genius. I don't know everything. I know a lot about a lot of things, but I don't consider myself a genius. And I don't consider that I have the right to tell you what you should or shouldn't believe. One last item I have is that Marjorie Taylor Greene wants to unfund NPR and PBS. I'm not sure she can spell NPR or PBS. She is an example of what happens when you let idiots run the government. She's just a moron, and if she wasn't in government, she'd be working the corner someplace. All right, listen, I got to get out of here. Hit the subscribe button. Say hello in the comment section, and say you like me or hate me, okay? All right, have a great Saturday. I'm not sure about tomorrow. It is a Sunday. I don't know what our plans are right now, but I understand something's coming up tomorrow, so I probably will be here, but you never know. In the meantime, bow your heads, whether you're Catholic or Jew or whatever. Show a little respect and say a little prayer for the Pope. He was a good man. That's all you have to remember. He was a good man. Okay, have a good day.